What's up, baseball fans? So today I begin my series on the top players at each position heading into 2020. For today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 10 catchers in the major leagues, but before I get started, I wanted to go over some advanced metrics that I used to create my rankings specifically for the catcher position. The first thing I used to make my list was simply their offensive stats like batting average, homers, RBIs, on-base percentage, and so on. However, I also looked at their offense above average, which is simply the player's ability to produce offense both at the plate and on the bases. Next, I used defensive runs saved, which is how many runs a player saved based on a number of aspects. For catchers, things such as the strike zone, stolen bases, and bunts are accounted for. As you can see, a Gold Glove caliber player will save 15 runs or more, a great defender will save at least 10 runs, above average would save at least 5, average is 0, and the more runs you give up, the worse defender you are. This isn't perfect, but it gives you a good idea on a player defensively for the most part. After this, I looked at RSB, or runs on stolen bases, which is a catcher's ability to save runs via the prevention of stolen bases. Last but not least, I looked at FRM, which is Fangraph's estimate of how many runs a catcher was able to save simply by framing pitches, which can lead to more strike calls and therefore more outs. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the rankings. At number 10, I have Austin Hedges. I know what you might be thinking. Austin Hedges and Francisco Mejia share time at catcher for the Padres. Don't get me wrong, Francisco Mejia is talented and has one of the best arms out there, but Hedges, in my opinion, is on another level, at least defensively, and the numbers back it up. Hedges won't really do anything with the bat, proven with his 176 average last year and negative 24 offense above average, but his defense is off the charts. Among catchers with at least 800 innings played, he was second in defensive runs saved with 21, first in runs saved with framing pitches with 20.7, and he threw out 50% of runners that tried stealing. Between Mejia and Hedges, I personally lean towards Hedges because he is just so valuable defensively and also gets very high praise for handling the pitching staff. Another note to add is that between him and Mejia, the Padres were 25 and 34 when Mejia started and 47 and 46 when Hedges started. Austin Hedges, to me, could be the most underrated catcher in all of baseball. At number 9, I have Robinson Chirinos. Robinson Chirinos isn't a catcher you hear of too much, mainly because he only became a starter a couple years ago, but he is actually one of the more solid catchers in the league. For the offense, he won't give you 30 home runs like Gary Sanchez gives you, but he'll give you around 15 homers and drive in 50 to 60 runs. Also, among catchers with at least 400 plate appearances, he ranked 15th with a WRC plus of 113, which is runs created but accounting for external factors like the ballpark they play in. As for the defense, he's not the best out there, but he'll give you close to solid defense. In 2019, he had 3 defensive runs saved that ranked him 10th among catchers with at least 800 innings played. However, he hasn't been very good at framing for his career, giving up almost 50 runs for his career from just framing alone. He did improve in that aspect last year, but he still gave up almost 6 runs from framing. Overall, though, I think Chirinos is a solid catcher and should get some more attention. At number 8, I have Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez is a really interesting catcher. He can give you anywhere from 30 to 35 homers and drive in over 90 runs. But with Sanchez so far in his career, that's really all there has been with his game. Statistically on the defensive side, he's been a very below average catcher. In 2019, he gave up almost 7 runs with his framing that ranked 51st out of 61 catchers with at least 300 innings played. Out of those 61 catchers, he ranked 44th in defensive runs saved with negative 2. Where he does do okay, though, is preventing runs on the bases, where he ranked 14th out of those 61 catchers by saving 2 runs from base runners, and he threw out 23% of runners that tried stealing. Another problem Sanchez has had is his health. When healthy, he's one of the best hitters in the league, but since 2016, he's only averaged 92 games a season. One aspect to take note of is the Yankees brought on former Twins catching coordinator Tanner Swanson, who helped Mitch Garver become better at framing pitches. With Garver, he helped adopt a new catching stance in which one knee is on the ground, which will help frame pitches in the lower half of the strike zone, as well as take pressure off the legs, which could help Sanchez be more durable. I think the potential is there for Sanchez to be a top 5 catcher in the league, but the defense really needs to improve. At number 7, I have Willson Contreras. Wilson Contreras is very similar to Gary Sanchez in the fact that they're both good offensively, but below average defensively. He won't hit for more power than Sanchez, but he'll provide a more all-around offensive game, and he's been able to stay on the field more. In 2019, he hit .272 with 24 homers and 64 RBIs, along with a career-high OPS of .888. Like Sanchez, though, it's the defense that holds him back. His framing alone gave up almost 9 runs last season, and he had -1 defensive runs saved, but he was able to throw out 29% of runners trying to steal, which helped him total 1 run saved from stolen bases. However, like Sanchez, Contreras is going to need to tighten up the framing part of his game. If he can, he could definitely climb up these ranks by the end of the season. At number 6, I have Buster Posey. This may be surprising to some people considering Posey had a down year offensively last year, but make no mistake, Posey is still one of the best catchers in Major League Baseball, and the stats prove it. Sure, he was definitely down in the offense last year, setting a career-low .688 OPS. A concussion early on in the season along with a hamstring injury didn't help much, but he still ranked near the top in most of the important defensive categories for a catcher. First, he saved 14 runs defensively, which out of the 17 catchers that played 800 innings at the position, that ranked 3rd. Next, he was able to save 9.6 runs from just framing alone, which ranked 5th. To add to that, he was able to save 2 runs from stolen bases, which ranked 4th. Overall, he ranked 7th in defense among catchers with at least 300 innings played. Sure, he had a down year offensively in 2019 and dealt with some injuries, but he was still able to provide some of the best production defensively in the majors among all catchers. At number 5, I have Christian Vasquez. Here comes all the bias comments. We now move into the top 5 catchers, starting with Christian Vasquez at number 5. It's taken Vasquez a couple of years to start living up to a comparison a scout made of him a couple of years back that he was a mini Yadier Molina due to his attention to detail on the defensive side of his game, but also possessing good leadership qualities. However, what held Vasquez back for most of his career early on was his bat, in which he only hit .246, 10 homers, 80 RBIs, and an on-base percentage of .296 in his first 4 seasons combined, while sharing the catching duties with Sandy Leon. In 2019, though, he became the full-time catcher, and he really stepped up his game on the offense, hitting .276 with 23 homers, 72 RBIs, and an OPS of .798. While those were definitely improvement, his defense is what continued to shine. He saved a total of 5 runs defensively, which ranked him 9th out of 32 catchers with at least 600 innings played. He threw out a very good 38% of runners trying to steal, which ranked him 5th, which also helped him save 2 runs total from stolen bases, which ranked him 4th. Probably the best part of his game, however, was his framing, in which he saved a total of 12.4 runs that ranked him 4th. If Christian Vasquez can keep up with the offense, he'll continue to be one of the top catchers in all of baseball. At number 4, I have Mitch Garver. Mitch Garver is easily one of the most solid catchers in baseball today. What really sticks out for him is the complete package he presents on offense. In 2019, he posted a .273 average with 31 homers, 70 RBIs, along with a .365 on-base percentage, as well as a .630 slugging, to give him a .995 OPS that easily ranked 1st among catchers with at least 350 plate appearances. While his bat is one of the most solid in the game, his defense isn't the best, but it's not terrible by any means. While he did give up 3 runs to stolen bases in 2019, he was able to save a run defensively and saved another with his framing. Basically, behind the plate, he's not the best out there, he's not the worst, but he gets the job done, and with his offense, he is easily one of the top catchers in the game. At number 3, I have Roberto Perez. Heading into my top 3, I have Roberto Perez at the 3 spot, who I think doesn't get nearly as enough attention as he deserves, likely because he just became a full-time catcher this past year. On offense, he won't break down any walls, as in 2019 he had a .239 average and a .321 on-base percentage, but he did hit 24 homers. Where he really shines, though, is on defense. First off, he ranked 1st among all catchers in defensive runs saved, as he saved 30 runs with his defense alone. As for his arm, he threw out 40% of runners trying to steal, which ranked 2nd in the majors. This also helped him save a total of 2 runs from stolen bases. He also shined with framing pitches, saving almost 10 runs. Overall, while Perez won't give you an all-around offensive game like a Mitch Garver or a Wilson Contreras, he can still give you decent power, and along with his superb defense, he is easily a top 3 catcher in this league. At number 2, I have Yasmani Grandal. I don't think people realize how good Yasmani Grandal has been in his career, especially last season. Let's start with the offense. Since 2014, he's been able to average 22 homers and 62 RBIs, along with a .345 on-base percentage. In 2019, he set career highs in homers with 28, RBIs was 77, and if you're not counting his first season in which he had 226 at-bats, a career high in on-base percentage with a .380 and an OPS of .848. As for the defense, he neither saved nor gave up any runs defensively for 2019, but he did throw out 27 runners trying to steal, which ranked second. However, his overall caught stealing percentage was only 27%, as he did allow 73 stolen bases, which was the second worst. You may think this doesn't sound great, but where he truly excels is framing pitches. With just framing pitches alone, he was able to save 17 runs, which ranked second in 2019, only behind Austin Hedges. While Grandal could use some work a bit with throwing out runners, he's a wizard with framing pitches, and along with a balanced offensive game, he is simply one of the best catchers today. And at number 1, I have JT Realmuto. On this list, this was actually the easiest one to place, as JT Realmuto is simply the best overall catcher today. In 2019, he hit .275 with 25 homers, 92 RBIs, along with an on-base percentage of .328 and a slugging of .493 to give him an OPS of .821. Now let's move on to the defense, where he is simply just solid everywhere. Overall, he saved 12 runs defensively, which ranked 5th, threw out 43 runners and 46% overall, which ranked him 1st. This helped him save 10 runs from stolen bases alone, which also ranked 1st. He was also solid at framing pitches, saving 8 runs there, which ranked 9th overall. Simply put, JT Realmuto is the best all-around catcher today, and in all honesty, it's not even close. So those are my top 10 catchers in the game today. Tell me down below in the comments, who do you think are the top 10 catchers heading into 2020? But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.